Hey, what's going on, everybody? My name is Corey, better known as the Seaman, and I want to welcome you to another edition of the Seaman's Cinema Sit Down. It has arrived. We have finally seen the conclusion to what we've been building over the last 8 weeks, and I dug it. I dug it a lot. What am I talking about? Oh, come on. You know. Why don't you pull up a chair? Take a seat. We are getting ready to dive in, spoiler free, into episode 9 of WandaVision. We have reached a conclusion, so to speak, as we get to the final episode of the season, and we get to see how Marvel wraps up this story that they've been telling over the last, 8 weeks. And like I said, I really did dig this episode. I think based on everything that they have built, it hit the mark. Like, it's what they built, it stuck the landing. Now, I'm not going to lie to you. There are going to be a bunch of people out there that are going to be disappointed for different reasons, because we've all theorized like 8 million different possible things that could be going on with this show. And you're going to get to the end, and you're going to be feeling good about certain things and going, oh man, about others, because that's the way the world works, right? And I thoroughly hope that the Marvel fan base doesn't react, say, like the Star Wars fan base did after theorizing for 2 years on a movie and then getting something with The Last Jedi that didn't look or do any of the things that people theorized about. I hope that, being that we've only been living with this for 8 weeks and living with it live, that people can adjust their expectations and know that just because we don't necessarily answer all the questions, I feel like we've all taken for granted the fact that Kevin Feige is a mastermind and he knows how to build a phase of movies that are going to lead to a culmination point that'll build another step to lead to another culmination point to lead to another step that will lead to a final destination to kind of wrap up a story. Like, we watched this dude build one story over the course of 11, 12 years, right? And you think he's just going to give us the keys to the kingdom after the first thing from Phase 4? Of course not. Because of that, I don't necessarily think that all the theories that we've thrown out there are dead in the water at the end of this episode. I don't think all the theories that we've thrown out there are going to hit in this episode. I don't think any of us thought. But there are definitely things that we get answers to, and there are definitely some things that we can talk about on the spoiler side about what's coming next. But for what we get with this finale. What we get with this finale, I really dug what Shackman and this team did. Like, it is a wonderful story for Wanda. This has been Wanda's story from the beginning when we all started this stuff. And you get a solid conclusion and some wonderful payoffs in the realm of that story. And how they culminate everything and what they build to, what we've been building to, is like that third act of a Marvel movie. It delivers that wow factor. There is some fantastic spectacle in this episode. And all of that was just so enjoyable to watch. And it keeps you glued to the screen and you are invested in every moment. And by the time you get to the end, I think an effective show makes you feel what it wants you to feel by the time you get to the end. And at least for me, I think with the intended emotional space that you should be in at the end of this series is the emotional space, at least that I hit, and I think that they would want to hit. I think it hit the notes there. And I am so excited for Elizabeth Olsen going forward. Like, she has so quickly become, like, my favorite thing in the Marvel universe. Like, I've been a fan of Liz Olsen, from day one, and everything that she's done with Wanda up to this point has been fantastic, but she's been part of a bigger story, and, she finally gets her just due here. This is a character that, as we've seen over the course of the last 8 weeks, has suffered lots of trauma in her life, and to finally give her own story and have it do what this story does for the character. I'm so excited for her, man. There's huge potential for her going forward, and like I said, what they set up, like the juices are starting to flow, and the gears are starting to wind in the head on what could be going on as we move forward, going into eventually Loki, and then Doctor Strange, and Spider-Man before Doctor Strange. And I'll be interested to see how Feige weaves it all together. But as far as WandaVision goes, like I said, Liz Olsen is she's so freaking good. And like, when she has a moment, she capitalizes on that moment and just executes like really, really powerful stuff throughout the whole episode. And like I said, it really is a wonderful culmination for Olsen as an actor to get to the end of this thing and have what happen to that character. As far as Paul Bettany goes, again, like this is Wanda's story, but this show is twofold because Wanda and Vision go hand in hand, and Bettany is just as awesome in this episode as Olsen is. He has some really awesome stuff, like the things that we get to see with Vision in this episode. Oh, dude, like it was glory. Like there were moments, man, where I like jumped out of my seat. Like they did some really cool stuff with him, and they let Bettany bring it home, man. Like that emotional connection that we have with Wanda, it's also tied to Vision. And Bettany gives you some really, really powerful sequences. Specifically, one near the library, and then one toward the back third of the episode. And there's just some, like I said, really wonderful moments for Bettany to play with. And getting to watch him play in this episode was a lot of fun. You get to see him do some stuff that we haven't seen him do with the character, and the way they worked it was so good. And it's hard to do this one without spoiling anything, but those, our main characters, they've been fantastic. They've been the rocks of the series from day one, and they continued that all the way through to the end. And it is a satisfying conclusion for both characters by the time you get to the end of the episode and the end of the season. And it's one of those things that's what you want, man. Like, you wanted to have good payoffs for your leads, and you get those. I also dig the stuff they do with Agatha. Obviously, where we last left her, she's in quite the position of power, and how they play from that sequence forward and what they do with her, a lot of fun. Catherine Hahn definitely chews some scenery in this episode. She definitely gets to enjoy some stuff, and I like how that story weaved into this finale with the Wanda and the Vision storyline. And then even the boys, man, the boys have some fun. Monica has got some fun. Like they find ways to give everybody a payoff in this episode. Like all the characters that you've loved this whole season, you're going to get some sort of payoff, whether it's small or it's big, for everybody. I mean, stuff for Jimmy and Darcy and Monica, and all of it was so enjoyable. And I don't know if I can say that without spoiling it, other than I really dug it, and I think the episode will take you to places that you don't see coming. And in all honesty, when you're dealing with a show that's got a mystery to it, that is clearly playing with the fans. Like, I don't care what Shackman or Feige says going forward. If they say that they weren't, they were totally having fun with the fans. And I hope the fans had fun with what, those guys did with this series. And, can take it and go, I wasn't necessarily right, but what I got was really, really dope. And like I said, what they're setting up, as we move forward, it's got me interested in some of the things that are coming up, and it's got me interested to see how we get ourselves all the way to that Doctor Strange movie with the stuff that's coming up. Obviously, not a spoiler. At this point, we've had 2 post-credit scenes, one from each of the last episodes. There is, of course, post-credit stuff here. Come on, like, you're not going to wrap up a story and not tease us to the next thing. So you get 1 credit scene after the animated credits that we always get. Then if you let all the credits play out, make sure you let them all play out. Stick around. Fast forward. Don't go too fast, though. There is 1 more stinger at the end, and both stingers, I think, set up some really, really interesting possibilities that we will talk about later today. But for now, I don't want to spoil anything for you guys, and I hope I haven't spoiled anything, and I hope that I've just gotten you excited to go enjoy the conclusion of this show and see where we end up. And then hopefully you'll come back and enjoy as I relish in talking about everything that goes on in this episode. And there might be a few videos today. We'll probably talk about those post-credit scenes. We'll definitely spoil the crap out of this episode. I may have recorded some reactions this morning. I might have been thinking ahead a little bit. So there is going to be plenty of stuff. If you're a WandaVision fan and you've been digging what we're doing at this channel, around WandaVision, plenty of stuff coming up throughout the day. I made sure to take off from work so I could just focus on WandaVision stuff. And there's also a ton of crap that dropped today. The content is just pouring in, man. So we're going to try to get up to speed on everything that's dropping, all the WandaVision coverage. I hope you'll come back for all that, and I hope you enjoyed this review and enjoyed this run. We have, I think, a week off before the Falcon and the Winter Soldier start. I will be doing the same format for that. So if you enjoy the non-spoilers for these shows because you won't be able to watch them later, don't worry, I'm not going to drop them. We're going to keep it going, keep it rolling, just like we've been doing. But until then, I am done talking about WandaVision because I don't want to screw up not spoiling anything for you guys. So the question is, what are you thinking? If you have watched the episode and you watch, please, no spoilers. I can't be any more clear about that. Please don't spoil anything for anybody. I'm going to have the spoiler review up in a little bit and we can chat there. But if you did watch the episode, what'd you think, man? Do you think people should be excited? How did it hit for you? What kind of feelings were you getting watching this episode? Obviously, if you haven't watched it, which is probably the majority of this audience, what'd you think of what I had to say? Have I gotten you excited? Are you pumped to see the finale? Where do you think we're going to head? And what do you think could happen as we approach? I would love to see what some of you guys are thinking going into the finale, now knowing everything that I know. So anything you're thinking about WandaVision, the coverage of WandaVision here, what I'm thinking, what you're hoping for the finale, what you've loved about the show so far, down below in the comments section. Look forward to talking to you guys down there. As always, if you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up, and if you're new, you want to come hang out with the old C-Man. We got, like I said, I think a week off, and then we're back at it on Friday mornings with the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. So if you're a Marvel fan, you want to be here for that stuff. You just like the energy that I'm bringing, you like what I'm doing here. Whether it's movie stuff, TV stuff, trailer reactions, you want to show a little support for the old C-Man. You want to be here for everything that's coming up in the Marvel Cinematic Universe and beyond. Then I urge you, if you haven't, please come join C-Maniac Nation, man. Jump over there, hit that subscribe button, hit that little bell if you want those alerts. If not, hey, I just thank you for stopping by and hope you'll come by again. But until then, for the C-Man's Cinema Sit Down, Marvel's first ever television series in the books. Oh, it was magical. For the C-Man's Cinema Sit Down, I've been the C-Man. I'm signing off. We'll see you on the spoiler edition. Peace! Oh, hey, what's going on? You must be sticking around because you're looking for more content featuring this guy. Well, guess what? You're in the right place. You can check out more videos right here and right here. And if you have and you want to come join that C-Maniac Nation, you can hit that subscribe right over there.